Back to the Jays Fit Down podcast. I'm your host, Jay, and I'm here today with Sam Crenshaw. He does a lot of broadcast work here with GPB here in Atlanta and many other things. So I appreciate him coming on and bringing his great sports knowledge on the show today. Sam, thank you for joining us this evening.
We know what kind of knowledge it's going to be, but we're going to give it a try anyway, right?
Hey, enough knowledge. So yeah, Sam, I just wanted to come on and talk to you about, like we said before we got on, just who, as we saw last year, we saw the Eagles come into Super Bowl. They won against the Chiefs. They had a great year well, they had a great year they picked it up towards the latter end of the season. The defense was phenomenal, probably the best in the whole league. And we saw that in the Super Bowl against Kansas City. I mean,
Hmm.
they stifled them completely. I never seen the Chiefs look like that or in the Patrick Mahomes era ever. Like they
Right.
couldn't do anything offensively. So going off that note, um, who are your top five teams going into the 2025 NFL season? I'm sure the two teams I just mentioned will probably be in that five for you. They might not be. I don't know. I want to hear your thoughts. So why don't you go ahead and tell us about that?
Well, you throw that out there, Philadelphia, and they just allowed them to keep their favorite play last week, right? They're going to keep the push,
Yeah.
much to the chagrin of some people. But you know what? If you don't like it, then get your own version of it and beat
Or
them at
stop it.
it. Right. You know what I mean? Stop it or get your own version of it. But you got to have the right personnel. They've shown us one thing: whatever you do, it starts up front. It starts up front. Defensive side, it starts up front. Offensive side, and that's the one thing they have. Yeah, they got a lot of toys and whistles and bells and at skill positions, but man, they get it done in the trenches, and that's where you're going to get it. That's where it is. It's amazing how as far up as you go with this game, high school, college, professional, whatever level, it still comes back to that. It still comes back, back to that. The teams that can do that and can master that, they're going to have, they're going to have success. You find it at the high school level. You can find schools that got linemen, some talented guys. It's going to make a difference. At the college level, the SEC has some flashy guys with you, but if you can't run the ball, you're not going to win. There's no SEC team that's like a Texas Tech with any fun gun, red zone, whatever.
Yeah.
You're not going to see that in the SEC. You got to block and tackle, man. You got to run. So, I mean, it's amazing how no matter how high up you go in this sport, it's that fundamental, man, on the line that makes the difference. And Philadelphia is there. And that's the reason why right now it seems like they could be there again. This coming season, we say the team that we keep waiting for, the team I keep waiting to break through, I'll go in Baltimore. I keep waiting for them guys to break through. I'm like, what is it? Why can't they break through? They got this phenomenal talent. You know what they got defensively on that team. Man, they just picked up a big pickup with Malachi. Malachi Starks is going to be awesome in that defense up in Baltimore. It's amazing how how far he fell in the draft, but right on time for a team like that. And talk about running the rock. We know who they got up there last year with Derrick Henry. They got everything, it seems. But for some reason, man, at postseason, it just won't happen for them. And, they're in a window right now. You're in a window where you got to make it happen. And if it don't happen, that time kind of passes. And, you hate for Lamar Jackson to have the time and being there like he is and have that talent around him, and it just not happen for him. And I don't know if it's happening that way for another team I think should be around, and that's the Buffalo Bills. I think they're in a window too, but they got to make it happen. The talent is there. They got the quarterback is there. They got the great defensive play that's there, and they're right there on the edge too. And so, those are three teams that I look at and really, really like. And I think if I might have a five, those three are going to be in it. Now we get to some other folks
All right.
like Kansas City. Um, People kind of figured them out. I mean, I think now we have a blueprint of what to do. And a lot of people will tell you them dudes were doing a Houdini act for much of the season last year. They wiggled off the hook a lot against the Falcons. You
Yeah. Yeah.
so we're talking about for a team, they're winning, and we said, okay, they're just getting by regular season. When they get to the playoffs, they're gonna flip the switch. That's because that's what we feel like they can do. They got that kind of talent, they got that kind of confidence in the people. Kelsey done nothing all season. All of a sudden, he started catching balls. They got to the playoffs. Said, okay, here they come. So that's Kansas City. But we've seen a blueprint of what it takes to beat them now. And my thing is, well, we really hadn't seen that before, especially in the Super Bowl. Now, not everybody has the talent that Philadelphia has to duplicate that, right? Not everybody has that. But you've seen how it's done. You see how it can be done. You see how you can frustrate Mahomes, the guy who can do so many things and is so talented and just kind of reinvents the position that he plays. Um, yeah, so they're there. I'm saying they're there, but because you got some other teams that have come on. I like what they did up in Detroit, and I've always been a person who's been down on Detroit because they've been so bad for so long. I used to call the Lions the toothless cat because they don't bite nobody. They were that for years. They were that
Yeah.
for years. How can you have guys like Barry Sanders and Calvin Johnson playing your team, and you don't come anywhere near playing in a Super Bowl or anything. So I'm we'll see if what happens was what's happened the last 2 years. I wanted to see last year to see if it was real. Yeah, it came out the year before and then finished kind of like, okay, let's see what they do to follow it up. And they followed it up. They followed it up. They're solid. They contended. They're there. But the other team I like in the NFC watch is obviously Washington. And we're waiting to see if they can duplicate it, right? Because they played so well and kind of came out of nowhere. We really weren't expecting that. Um, and so Falcons played them well. They managed to wiggle off the hook, but they played them well. So I definitely want to put the Washington team in there. I don't know if I got Detroit in there, but Washington's in there. I got to throw some more AFC in there, and I'm trying to think of who else AFC I like other than Buffalo and KC, and then Baltimore. I'm thinking those are the ones that I really like the most. So I'm probably giving you six. I'm only supposed to give you five. But but but,
No,
but
it's okay. It's
those are the ones that I think going into the season that I'm really going to watch. This thing up in Pittsburgh, where Rodgers is. I can't believe that Mike Tomlin is a party to this, man. To me, he's such a no nonsense type guy. To me, in my opinion, and this whole thing with Aaron Rodgers. Now, if they get him, what do they have? To me, I didn't think it was that big deal when he went to the Jets. All of a sudden, people wanted to make the Jets be a Super Bowl contender. I'm like, why? Why? And to me, it's yesterday's news, but that's just me. He'll be great quotes for those of us in the media. He'll say things that we'll think is great. So you
right.
got to do that, right? So
That's yeah, especially Aaron Rodgers of all people. I mean, he'll give you you'll never know what he's gonna give you.
right, you know what I mean.
So
He's great.
you
Now it
know,
may drive the coaches crazy, and it may do crazy stuff to your locker room, right? But it'll give us something. Every Monday morning we'll have something to have some fun with.
yep, that's right. So Aaron Rodgers, man, you can always count on
That,
him for
and
that.
him and Jameis Winston in New York. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh my
For
goodness.
sure. Don't forget,
Oh,
Russell Wilson might give you a thing. Well, he may not have a quote, but he might get caught on video doing something
yeah,
funny. So
doing something like that, right? You got the backstories. We got the backstories already that are
it's
mounting up that we
it's
can't wait for, right? And then this quarterback situation in Cleveland. So the backstories are there,
yeah.
for this season. Yeah, we talk about the teams we think are going to contend, but the other things that we're going to be talking about or watching for every Sunday to talk about on Monday morning. Yeah, they're kind of lining up, kind of conveniently lining themselves up too.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Yeah, and I agree with you, man. Like I think, the teams you mentioned are some good teams. Like, of course the Ravens always we've been waiting for them for a while now to get past this hump and they haven't done it yet. I really Lamar got his big deal. I mean, I want him to get a Super Bowl, man, really bad. The Ravens, but you will see. And then you got the Bills, of course, still can't get past Kansas City. We can get into the whole ref conversation, but we'll say that for a different time.
Yeah,
Um, and then obviously the Eagles. I mean, people. I think people don't understand like when you get a guy like that, like Saquon Barkley, how much a difference he can make on your team. He
yeah,
rushed for over 2,000 yards,
yeah.
and we saw the difference from Philadelphia Super Bowl team this past Super Bowl and then in Super Bowl 57 when they played Kansas City.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Big difference. And but you said you couldn't think of another AFC team. Here's a team for me, the Denver Broncos. This team, Sam. They got an amazing defense. Bo Nix, I think he's gonna have a great second year. I think, he had a good rookie year. And I think, with the pieces that they've built, maybe give him another piece or two on offense. But I think overall that team can fare well in the AFC West. I think they can. I definitely have them going to the playoffs next year for sure. I think
Do
the
you?
Broncos,
Do you?
yes, I have faith in the Denver Broncos.
When it comes to Bo Nix, you know what I have trouble with? I have trouble with the game I saw him play in college against Georgia State. And Georgia State had Auburn beat. The
Yeah,
crowd
I
at
remember that.
Auburn booed him off the field. He got booed off the field at Auburn, and the backup quarterback comes on and beats Georgia State. And I'm thinking, man, Georgia State, except for Cam Newton's brother blocking that doggone punt. And they booed him off the field. And I guess I've had trouble getting past. He had to go to the other side of the world to play his college, finish up his college career, and really get his head right. I mean,
Yeah,
he was trying to follow in his father's footsteps. His dad had been a quarterback at Auburn. So that was the pressure of that. And then he goes out there and he doesn't do things consistently that they needed him to do. And I'll never forget that day. I said, it came very close because I was at the Georgia State Tennessee game. So I'm thinking they're going to stop inviting Georgia State to play SEC team. And then Georgia State beat SEC team last year, beat Vanderbilt.
yeah.
But I would be seeing Nix that day. It's been amazing to see him get in a different environment and what he can do and what it's done for him. He's there. He's legit. He's straight up, out in Denver. So he very well could be there. You got that. We forget about the quarterback that's with the Chargers. We kind of tend to forget about and sleep on them. But Herbert's great, and he got a cast around him. They drafted a great running back to go along with him. So I mean, that division bears watching. Period. We'll see what the Raiders are able to do out in Vegas, but that's a division from top to bottom that's going to bear watching. Kind of like the Giants, more or less, but the NFC East to me is going to bear watching. And the Central, we'll see what happens. We'll see what Green Bay is able to do. We think the Vikings are going to be one of the better teams. And can Chicago improve? We'll see. They've done some things defensively. We're going to miss Grady Jarrett here in Atlanta.
Of course, yes,
Right.
definitely.
He's going to do some good things wherever he goes. They can just get some talent around Caleb Williams and see if he can continue to develop to be this guy that, we think they're going to be. Like I said, there are a lot of stories you look to. You got that top tier, but you got that group that's just below that top tier. And like you said, certain things go, some pieces that have been added to some of these teams, that type thing can change. It's a long season. And of course, people staying healthy. That's a big part of it too.
Yep. Yeah, that's right. Health is very important in all sports, as you know, and I know as well, playing sports growing up. So, when you're healthy, you got all your when your stars are healthy, that makes a big time difference. And when they're
Mm-hmm.
not, it makes a big time difference. So,
Mm-hmm.
you look at all these teams and, their goal is for them to go into the postseason healthy as can be, go into the regular season healthy as can be, but definitely go into the postseason healthy as can be. Um, and so yeah, I definitely think the Broncos are a team to look out for. Led the league in sacks. They had a great season. I think
What do you think of Houston?
the
Can
Texans. You
quarterback
know,
he had such a phenomenal rookie year. He had an incredible rookie year, and last year he kind of took a little bit of a step back.
he did.
But
He did.
can they rebound? That's another team to me. If he can regain that form from his rookie year, man, they're dangerous.
Yeah, they are. They are. I mean, and not to mention they have an awesome receiving core with Nico Collins, man, who I think is a guy who doesn't get as much as, credit as he should. He's a phenomenal receiver. Tank Dell, another great player for them. The Texans, I mean, they just offensively, I think they struggled in certain aspects of the game last year when I was watching them. A lot of Bobby Slowick's play calling getting quite make a lot of sense in certain situations. I think that pushed them back a little bit. Defensively, I think they have a good young defense. So it's just a matter of can they rebound offensively? Can they stay consistent? Can CJ Stroud get back to his rookie season?
Yeah,
He
yeah,
said. So, you know, I don't know, man. Houston's a wild card to me.
yeah. It's a
Either
long,
way.
like I said, it's a long season. 17-game season. That's the thing. That's to me as you add another game and add another game to the schedule. That's always a chance of health being a factor.
Yeah.
That's why in the preseason you see guys, as I say on my radio, we're gonna put these guys in bubble wrap, right? Because the idea is to get them to the preseason. Like last year, the Falcons played nobody in their preseason games. They didn't
Right.
play any of their regulars. It was just guys that were trying to make the squad. But you want everybody to be healthy to start the season. That's the bottom line. And as the preseason changes, I don't know if preseason games will eventually go away, but I think we're going to be probably down to two preseason games and maybe a controlled scrimmage. Something like teams go and visit with another team's training camp and like scrimmage for 2 or 3 days. I think that might be it. I really do, because if you the money that's being invested in the players, and as I always tell people, nobody pays money to buy a ticket to see a man on crutches. You pay your ticket, you want to see that team as best they can be with all the players in a full complement if possible. And the thing of it is, you don't come to camp to get in shape anymore. These guys out there now, these guys are at OTAs. Everybody's doing their OTAs right now, and you don't come into that not out of shape. I mean, you're ready to play. It's just a matter of fact of going out and playing. You go to camp now, you don't see a whole lot of tackling, blocking, you see a lot of, and we're doing this OTA time. Nobody's touching anybody. So I mean, it's to a bare minimum, because you try to save it all for what really matters, for the time that really matters. And all depends on what part of your schedule your bye week comes in. Those type things are important. Falcons bye week is kind of early this year as far as this season goes. Other seasons it's been down a couple of months in, so sometimes it's almost 3 months in. Those type things make a difference as well with your teams.
Yeah. You mentioned the Falcons. I guess we'll kind of end the show here with them. So Michael Penix came in last year and he played really good. I think his first game was against we came in at the end of the Denver game, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. And
Okay.
then he started the game against the Giants. That was yes, it was the Giants, but he
Yep.
he looked good.
But they kept it simple. They kept it pretty simple. You know what I mean, for him coming in, and he was able to get some things accomplished. There's so much talent around him, and I think that's the thing that made people excited. The people here in Atlanta want to know who knew what when. If you knew that Kirk Cousins wasn't healthy or whatnot, why do you keep putting him out there? If he knew he wasn't well, why didn't he say something? So it still comes back to people wondering who knew what when. Did the front office know? Did the head coach know? Did the player know and didn't tell people? Because here's a team that had a pretty commanding lead in that division and ended up not making the playoffs at all. It leaves us feeling a certain type of way as far as the team goes. But yeah, we feel like with Penix, he showed great didn't play badly against the Redskins.
No, he
Uh,
didn't. He had a good
Redskins,
game. Yeah.
Redskins Commanders. Sorry, I'm old school. They're talking about bringing that back. Let's see if that happens.
Uh,
Uh, but
yeah.
that was a team a lot of people were watching, a primetime game, and
Yep.
so I think he's ready to do a good start. He's a little more mature than somebody else to be in his position, an older guy coming into the league. I mean, most guys have been coming in at 22, 21, 22, 23 years old. So I think he's more than ready. I like his approach when we talk to him and interview him. He's very at an even keel, doesn't get too high or low. And I think I'm looking forward to seeing what he's able to do. He's got a solid running game, and that's any quarterback's best friend. When you can turn and have a solid running game to do things. When I think about Matt Ryan's best years, he had guys like either Warwick Dunn or Michael Turner.
Yep.
He could turn around and go, man, it's nothing like having a guy that could run the ball and pound the rock for you to make you get that play, set up that play action, right? And he's got
Yeah.
some targets for
Yeah.
the play action. So that's the thing. We got a tight end. We got to figure out this dude want to be here, doesn't he? That's the thing. If he wants to be,
Sam, Sam, please don't get me started on Kyle Pitts, Sam.
I'm
Please,
just saying,
please don't.
if
I,
he plays like he wants to be here, he's golden. And that's the thing that people watching. Okay, we got a quarterback here that the crowd's excited about. People in town are excited about. Do you want to be here or don't you? Uh,
right.
if not, then we need to move him on and get someone to play that position that wants to be here, because you got the other tools you need for your offense. I'm just excited with what this team has done defensively, what they did for the defense in the draft. It's going to be an exciting time. I think you're really going to see what your secondary can do when you got the guys up front setting the table for some things. I think the secondary has had some talent, and obviously AJ Terrell is going to show that he deserves to be ranked among some of the better corners in the league.
Hmm.
Man, you got somebody put some pressure on some quarterbacks, then you get a chance to see what the guys can really do. So I'm looking forward to seeing what this team can do defensively. I think we win the division this year. I don't care what Tampa Bay does. I think Carolina's going to be better than a lot of people think. I think Bryce Young started to figure it out at the end of last season. And I pounded on a lot of people who wanted to say he was a bust when he went there his first year. I said, man, if you went into the situation he went into, you'd be a bust too.
Yeah.
He's coming out of a place where everything he's done has been the best from his high school in California to his time in Alabama. But I always tell people it's so hard for that Heisman Trophy winning quarterback. And I remind people only 5 Heisman Trophy winning quarterbacks have ever been to a Super Bowl. Only 5, and only 2 have won it. Think about that. Think about the pressure that's on that guy who's a Heisman Trophy winning quarterback, who usually is the number 1 or number 2 player taken in the draft each year. He goes to a team, first of all, doesn't have a line to protect him. He's running for his life.
Yep. Yeah.
Plus, he had dysfunction in the front office up in Carolina. So I mean, that's a terrible. He goes from with all the stability in the world with Nick Saban in Alabama to a situation that's just total chaos up in Charlotte. And people say, well, why can't he win? I can tell you why he can't win, in that situation.
David Tepper.
That's
David Tepper.
right, right. That's
Exactly.
absolutely. So, I mean, you throw him in a situation like that, my goodness, man, he has had to overcome that. In the latter part of last season, you started to see what could be. They went out and drafted a great wide receiver for him
Yep. Teddy
this year.
Miller.
So, I mean, they got a
Yeah.
great target for him to work with. I'm looking forward to seeing what they do. And the Saints, I don't care about the Saints.
Yeah, no, we don't know. Come on, Sam. Now you know how we do things here in Atlanta.
Yeah, it couldn't happen to a better group of folks, man. The quarterback decided he can't play down there. That's good.
That's
That's so cool.
unfortunate for them. But, like I said, I mean, listen, I do believe that the Panthers will be better. I give them probably like between 6 to 8 wins. I
Mhm.
don't know how many wins did they win last year? What? I can't remember exactly how many games they won last year, but I give them probably around seven, yeah, maybe 7 or 8 wins. I
About
mean, I
seven,
see improvement. Yeah.
yes, 7, 8 wins, I think will be an improvement for them. I think the Falcons, if things go well for them, I said 9 to 10 wins. I say 9 to 10 wins for them. I think this year, and 10 wins,
Get you
maybe they
in.
win this division this year. So
Yeah.
it's a big jump from where it's been. The schedule is challenging, no joke. They got a tough schedule, and they got some tough road trips on there, especially that thing they got to go over to Germany and play. So they got some challenges ahead of them, but I think this team is equipped for it, and I'm looking forward to the season. I can't wait for
Yeah, and they got 5 primetime games, I believe, this year. So, and they
it.
go to Minnesota week 2. I think it's week 2. They go to Minnesota week 2. We haven't been Minnesota hasn't came here in like 5 years. I'm like, why do we have
Yeah,
to go to Minnesota for a game every time
yeah,
we
yeah.
play Minnesota?
They haven't been here in a while. They really
Yeah,
haven't.
that's not fair. Come on, NFL. What are we
We
doing?
got we got Buffalo coming here, and people
Yep.
are talking about the people, the season ticket holders. Hold on, either you hold on to that ticket, or you can sell that ticket and make up for your whole season ticket. Because the Buffalo folks will come down here. They'll be just like the Pittsburgh people. They're gonna come
Yeah.
to town with
Show up.
they're gonna come to town with money to spend. First of all, they're gonna be glad to get out of Buffalo, but they're gonna come down here, and because
Yeah.
of how great their team is and the expectation for their team, I can't wait to. I can't wait for it. I can't wait to see it. It's gonna be a lot of fun.
It's gonna be a fun season, man. I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to this rookie class. And they look really exciting, and I'm excited to see how they do
What do you think?
this year.
What do you think happens in Cleveland? You get to
Um,
what do you think happens up there? You got five. Got well, technically four.
4 quarterbacks.
I don't think Watson ever plays up there again. Wherever he plays, I don't think he's gonna play there. But you know,
I don't know, man. I don't think Shador Sanders is gonna start right away. I think Joe Flacco is gonna start. Um, I think he's gonna be the starter once the season begins. Um, and I think they're gonna roll with it. I mean, probably have Shador and Dylan Gabriel compete for that other spot.
yeah,
You know,
that's what I think. too. I think you break the camp with either Flacco or Pickett as your starter. You won't keep
Or
both.
yeah, Flacco or Pickett. Yeah,
One of those guys will start, and then
yeah.
you'll have your rookies that will compete as the season goes. That competition will continue, and then some. But that's the thing, though. You know, they got to be ready for the locker room. We should do it because everybody's going to ask whoever the starting quarterback is. He throws 2 picks in a game. When you going to put him in? When you going to play him? And then the other thing you got to worry about is after each and every game, no matter where, because he's busy out there in Denver, Colorado, but he's not going to be too busy to get in front of a camera, right? The camera always finds him. And so he's going to be able to say what he thinks about what he saw from that game. He's not going to have time to go to every game. He's going to have Sundays, he got to have some coaches' meetings because he's got a team that's got to reinvent themselves. We don't know what Colorado's going to look like without these guys they've had, and they're going to kick off with a Georgia Tech team who's going to go out there and spank them because they know who they are.
Yeah.
Tech's got their identity is set. Colorado don't know who they are right now. And so it's going to be amazing, though. A whole lot of people from Atlanta are going to go out there, and they all going to be wearing Colorado stuff.
It's
Yeah,
crazy, man. I don't
it
even
is. It
it's
is.
crazy. But yeah, Colorado, man, we'll see what they are. I mean, it'll be interesting. College, I'm just ready for football, man. College and NFL, I'm excited for it. It can't come fast enough. But Sam, like I said, I appreciate you coming on and spending time with us
Thanks
today.
for the invite. I
Of
appreciate it.
course. Yeah, man. I've been meaning to try to get you on for a while, man. I mean, because I seen your work, when you do when you do your broadcasting and stuff, I think you done usually do high school football, state
The high
championships.
school state
You
championships.
I went to I graduated from Eagles Landing Christian, so I played
Uh,
for Coach Guest and
okay. You
I
he's
believe
on out of state now.
yeah, he's at in South Carolina, but
Mm-hmm.
so you called our game against Wesleyan. That was our junior year.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, so I know
Yeah.
your work, man. I was like, man, I got to get Sam on the podcast. So, but thank you so much, man, for your time. We appreciate it.
Well, appreciate you, and hey, looking forward to more folks like you who are coming along in this business, in this industry. Looking forward to great things.
Yeah,
Hey, aim high for it. But like I told you before we got started, you're here in Atlanta, and a whole lot of folks you may want to connect with actually come to you. To me, that's the benefit of being in this town. So take advantage of where you are. You know what I mean? And sometimes if I have to remind you some things that are happening, I'll do it. But just remember where you are and
yeah,
connect and keep pushing, keep reaching. Proud of you.
yes, sir. Appreciate it, and we will be talking with you very soon, Sam. All right, I will keep in touch with you, man. All right,
All right now.
all right, Sam. Thank you.